Our third honoree is this year's Peter Kinsley Scholarship recipient, Jessica Ballance.
I was really honored to be nominated for the award. I've been to the award ceremony, when we had them in person the last couple of years, and the videos that they put together, and hearing just a few words from each of the award recipients, it was nice to be in their company. But also, in part, me being honored means that Heather is honored as well, which means a lot to me because of how insanely hard she works, and she definitely deserves that achievement just as much as I do.
Jess has cystic fibrosis coupled with a very rare fungus in her lungs, which has decreased her lung function dramatically over the past several years. When Jess first came to me, she was in her early 20s and very nonchalantly mentioned to me, well, I don't know really, but I think I have about 5 years to live. She got her degree from Boston University, and she's just a big-time fighter. She's a pleasure to work with, and I would consider her, with so many years behind us, as a very dear friend. Jess's support system here in Pennsylvania consists of her mom, Jilly, and father, Jim, as well as her brother, Ben, who lives in Philadelphia, and he also has a sister out in Pittsburgh. And that family structure always rallies around Jess, especially Jilly's role as a primary caregiver is, not just transportation here and there to appointments. Several years we've been involved with lung transplant protocols for Jess, as far as trying to get a lung transplant, whether it be Pitt or Duke or Penn. That involves a lot of appointments, a lot of communication, just a lot of work, and Jilly and Jim and her whole family have been very supportive. And a special shout out to Barley, the dog, who is just her right hand for every virtual session. He is her emotional support. He's a fabulous pup, and I do love you, Barley.
Everybody's had to be careful, well, they should have been careful in the last couple of years with the pandemic, but I've had to be extra careful. Even for me, normally during the winters, I stay away from people just because flu is nasty, RSV, whatever. So for me, it was just kind of doing that tenfold. But by doing it virtual, it means that I still get to work out with Heather. I'm not sleeping or just sitting around all day. She makes me get up and go. She loves to make me do planks and side planks. She always laughs at me. Virtual means that I get to see her cats as well, and she gets to still see my dog, and my dog absolutely adores Heather. Virtual has been really great with Heather, and splitting up into just half-hour increments as well means that I don't get too tired, and we can do it more often and more than once or twice a week, because obviously staying active most days is best. Virtual has been really helpful. I've been able to stay in contact with Heather, which is something I very much value.
Jess is a fighter. She's fought these last 7 years. It's amazing that she's still with us. She's an amazing young woman. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming here tonight, not just our award winners, but also our other fighters that are here, our other Fighting Back clients who are fighting every day, our caregivers, our family and friends. The energy in this room tonight is very welcome. I have missed this for the last several years, and I truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming. When we asked Jess's parents, Jill and Jim, what characteristic of Jess they marveled most about their daughter, they said resilience. Resilience is the reason why Jess is here today. In fact, Jess has been nominated as an alternate 3 times. Yes, Jess. We're finally up here. When I think of Jess, I think of eternal light, of hope, kindness, and perseverance. I know there are days when Jess has an immense amount of pain and fatigue, and that our sessions 3 or 4 times a week are the reason that she gets up and gets dressed. And thank you for that, Jess. And Barley is always by her side, as well as typically perhaps some Harry Potter socks, the latest activism t-shirt of that week promoting women's rights, democracy, CF research. And one of my favorite things is the little snippets that Jess says, such as the words nugget and bougie. I do love those words. I'd like to thank Jess for being my inspiration to fight every day, to get up, to work. And we occasionally talk about our families. We connect virtually, sharing stories of our friends, our family, our pets, and even occasionally exercising. Jess, you are my friend. You are an inspiration. You continue to fight, and please don't ever lose that light. Come on up here, Jess. You deserve it, girl.
Thank you. 6 years ago, after being rejected for lung transplant for the first time for being too complicated a case, I knew that for the remaining time I had left, I wanted to be as strong as possible and squeeze in as much life as I could. I tried several different pulmonary rehab centers, but it quickly became clear that they didn't have enough training to know what to do with me. When they looked at me, they didn't see a person who ran varsity track all of high school or who played on travel soccer teams for over 10 years. They only saw me for what I had become, a sick young woman in the advanced stages of lung failure. I wanted to be treated as someone who had the potential to be strong again. Knowing of my plight, my favorite nurse, Gigi, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, told me about one of her patients who had started seeing a trainer through a program for people with life-changing illness or injury. Gigi noted that her patient was a lot happier and stronger since starting the program. Becoming happier and stronger was exactly what I wanted, so with all permissions granted, I spoke with Gigi's patient and learned that her trainer was a woman named Heather, and the program was called Fighting Back. As soon as I met Heather, I knew that I had finally found a trainer who wasn't afraid to push me, and she definitely wasn't going to treat me with kid gloves. Like I said in the video, you see how many side planks she makes me do. Heather worked with me to figure out how much exercise was enough to make a difference, but not so much that I would end up bedridden with a fever for several days. Always as complicated as can be. Over the years, Heather has not only made me stronger, but she has become a true friend, the kind of friend I trust all my secrets to. If you know Heather, then you know she spends almost all of her time in service of others and is forever there to lend a helping hand. Heather celebrates my good days, Unfortunately for me, she does that by asking for an extra set of squats and commiserates with me on my bad days when I'm just too tired and sad to get out of bed. With the help of my family, of Heather, and some amazing advancements in the treatment of cystic fibrosis, I have lived far longer than I ever thought possible. I say all of this because I want you all to know what the Fighting Back program has done for me. I want to thank you for how much you have changed my life. But most of all, I want to thank you for giving me Heather. Thank you for giving me my very own Wonder Woman.
So we're going to take a picture. At this time, Piper Kinsley is going to present the award, and we'll take a picture. Thank you. Congratulations.